Yeah. Cool. Hello, everyone. I'm Mark Colafranceschi. I'm a master's in teaching student here at Boise State. I am also a writing coach through the GSSC. So looking forward, if you are needing any writing help, you're able to book me or Laci. We're the two coaches downstairs. So the website isn't totally updated yet, but pretty soon here you'll be able to book us through that. So today we're going to be going over just some general overview of keeping it all together for graduate studies, some strategies that we've found helpful, some resources you can use, and different things you can access throughout your study. So just quick to start, going over the syllabus and course organization. It's obviously you're gonna be rolling those out over the next few days. In undergrad, there was some flexibility there. I think a lot of professors would kind of nudge you and really point out some of the really important things, and even maybe have like a syllabus quiz. That's something you're probably going to have to take into your own hands now in graduate school. So being really diligent about attendance policies, late work policies, contact for the professor, and really like getting that nailed out in the first couple of days, your actual schedule and your planner. That'll make a huge difference down the line when your actual work is starting to flow and you don't have that time to schedule and prioritize actual planning. So procrastination, yeah, cool. Avoiding procrastination is going to be super important, even more than in undergrad. I know we all like to put things off to the last minute. I'm guilty of it too, but actually differentiating between when things need to be done versus when they're due is going to be a big step in like preventing stress and burnout and actually getting things done. So looking at your calendar and then actually trying to, when you have an assignment come up, the due date, and kind of figuring out how long that's going to take, realistically setting some time constraints for yourself, and then mapping that out ahead of time is one of the biggest tools you can use. Spatial awareness. I need a really clean space to focus and work. If my desk is messy, it makes it really difficult for me to get focused and organized. So keeping like a dedicated, cleanly workspace is something that's going to be really helpful. And then differentiating your work and like relaxation, your eating spaces. This is kind of like a resource-based thing. It can be difficult to like dedicate an actual room, but that would be the ideal situation that I would recommend. Just having like a space where you can enter and that's your working space. You're not focused on cleaning the kitchen. You're not focused on family or friends. You can actually dedicate that time and that space once you enter that room to really focus on work. If you don't have that type of environment in your house or where you're living, the library has study rooms that can be booked ahead of time. They're usually available on the fly too. I think they made it they made a scheduling process through COVID, and I think they've held on to that. But there's almost always a room open there, so that's a really good resource to use. And the Pomodoro method. I don't know if any of you are familiar with that, but it's just a method of time boxing, breaking up your tasks into like smaller chunks. Like if you look at your whole semester at a time, your whole program at a time, it's like really, really easy to get overwhelmed. And just like being able to break that down into smaller chunks is going to be something that's going to really save you a lot of stress and make it a lot more palatable to actually get through your work. So the Pomodoro method is a method of like 25-minute chunks broken up of actual dedicated work, and then work for 25 minutes, take a 5-minute break, or however long you need to reset, and then come back to your work, start another assignment, or keep working on what you're working on. Just you're not just getting zoned in, getting burned out for too long. You actually, some good studies in that being a lot more effective. So some online tools and resources. The Notion and Forest app are both really good time management systems that help you set reminders and break up your work. into different chunks. Focus mode is something I use on my phone a lot. Switching your phone into like a dedicated do not disturb mode when you're working. Like the phone's a huge distraction. It's something that we are probably all familiar with, that it's so easy to get pulled out once you actually get zoned in on something. So just getting prepared, eliminating all your distractions when you're ready to work. Part of that can be going into a workspace, like a dedicated workroom. And then when you're in that room, it's just no outside distractions. That's super important. Google Calendar, it's a really useful tool for actually planning. It streamlines across all your different, like if you have different emails that you need to link up, I found it really useful for managing different calendars for work and school, that type of thing, and even personal. And you can filter it through and show exactly what you need. So reminders, you can set reminders through Google Calendar or just through your phone. Reminder to work on certain tasks at times. If you can't tell already, time management is one of like the biggest make or breaks. It's going to come down to in your graduate studies. So what's going on here? There we go. It's a marathon, not a sprint. Remember to take care of yourself, eat well, go for walks, enjoy time out in nature, get enough sleep. You can't be productive if you're not getting enough rest. So even if it feels like it's counterproductive to take a nap when you should be working, sometimes if you're fresh, you can get more work done anyways, and that's should be prioritized. Drink water, and find spaces where you can reset. That might be like the river, the green belt, your backyard, whatever it might be, but just dedicate some spaces, birds. You don't have to work, you can unwind, and you don't have to be productive all the time. It's like, I know it's the more stress you get on your plate, it feels like you need to grind down harder and harder, but sometimes the most effective thing you can do is just take time for yourself. So some resources on campus, the study rooms, which I mentioned, those are really helpful. Just a quiet, dedicated space. I've found that that can be better than like my own office at home, because the actual physical like process of going to a place to study makes me a little more dedicated to focus on my work. So that's a good resource. The rec center isn't necessarily a study tool, but it's great to get some physical activity. They have really great programs through the outdoor program, and they have really good classes and yoga classes, stress management type things. There's a big correlation with physical activity and brain activity. So getting moving can also be really helpful for staying focused. And then health services through GradPrep. They've got a really good system there with different events. That QR code, let's see, can't really scan it here. That QR code is going to bring you to GradPrep, and they have a bunch of different events and things. They have one coming up, I think at the end of the month, there's like a meet and greet in the park with tacos and some events going. So if you're looking to meet some new people and get familiar with some of the resources they have, that'd be a great event for you. That should pop up on their website too, if you take a look. And then the GSSC, we have workshops, we have writing coaches we can help you through your writing and certain struggles you might face, or you just want to bounce some new ideas off some people. It's a great opportunity there. And then GradPrep also has like a video resource page. You can find that through the other link that I had before, but this is just a direct QR to that. So a lot of good videos there for managing stress, and just some effective tools there. So disability rights, Boise State's accommodating. There's access for everyone. Just if you need any specific needs met, make sure you speak up. There's a lot of ways that Boise State can accommodate you. And we have a lot of great health services and accommodation. These are some things that you have rights to, so make sure you use them if you need them. So some of these might look like rescheduling class, early enrollment, service animals, assistive technology, providing outlines or summaries. These are all things you can ask for if you need. And it's at your own discretion, whatever seems appropriate for your own needs. So make sure you take advantage as needed. And then here's some additional links. GSSC, equal access, ADHD, gender equity. So a lot of different resources online. There'll be a QR at the end. So if you want to get these actual direct links, you can scan that. But so tools and tips, creating a routine, just getting into a flow is really important. So doing that as early as you can in the learning process is going to really help you out. Stay consistent day to day. Even if you feel like you're slowing down during a week, just getting something knocked out can be really helpful for your self-esteem, and obviously you're getting something done too. So give yourself realistic goals. Don't try and overshoot because you feel like you need to. Do what's reasonable for you, and try physical or Google Calendar. Some people work better with like written down plans. So if that's what works best for you, then definitely utilize that. But I personally like having things integrated into my computer because that's where I do most of my work anymore. So Google Calendar is what's worked best for me in the past. It also lets you do notifications. Blending those two together can also be really helpful. Having something you can like wake up, have a physical calendar on your wall and actually look at that to get your day started, and then check off the to-dos on the computer as you go. So reminders, use your online tools. There's a lot out there, both through the school and through apps and the internet. So know those and use those. Familiarize yourself with the Canvas site. So doing that as early as you can. A lot of your classes are going to be launching your Canvas here pretty soon. So taking the time while you're not in the heat of the classes to actually figure out the layout and where to find anything you need, that'll set you up for success. Communicate with your professors. They're there to help. They want to help you learn and succeed. So reach out to professors when you can. And so the library is a super great resource. Library assistants are there to help you. They can help you find books, and even if we don't have it, there are forgetting the name, but there is a library swap service, so we can get you just about any book you need. The GSSC can help with writing. GradPrep programs are really helpful for student health, and Boise State's really committed to graduate student mental wellness. So something to take advantage of while we have the opportunities there. Then that's that QR to that list of hyperlinks for resources. But yeah, that's all. If you have any questions, I'm happy to answer. But thanks. Well, nothing. Is that link working okay? Should have access. Okay. I can go through and change that. I didn't have it on this computer, but as long as it pulls up. All right. That's probably a little quick, yeah. There was a event happening next week. What was that? Yeah.
Next Wednesday, the 23rd, the graduate college is going to be hosting a trivia challenge event downstairs in room 102, which is right next to the graduate student success center. It will be from 10 to 11 that day, and we want everybody to come, bring your friends. There'll be teams of 3 competing. We've got some really great prizes, dining cards, running around campus, some gift cards to the Bronco shop, some other swag items. So if you can make it, great. Tell your friends. We'd love to have you there.
And if you're bringing with your superstar, you don't have to have 2 teammates. So yeah. 2, 3 person teams. So
Okay. Wrapped up real quick.
No, that's fine. That one was always good. I'm just gonna hold this. Got something here. So we'll have a few minutes. Is that yeah, is that okay? Okay. A few minutes here before our librarian comes over, kind of gives you an idea of what they have. How's the week going for everyone so far? Cool. Cool. Feel like we're friends already? That's good. Well, I got you on the spot here a little bit. I know some of the programs from the sign up sheets, but what program are you in? Social work? Okay, which is social workers. Very cool. You guys are a 2-year program? You're starting? Okay. What's your end goal? Where do you see yourself after 2 years? Okay.
Residential treatment for depression.
Nice. What about you, Mark?
I don't know yet.
That's fair.
In behavioral health there. My internship will be with refugees. Who knows? I don't know, school counseling. Medical social work. A lot of options.
That's true. And what you think? Yeah. I mean, social work encompasses way more. I mean, you look at it, it sounds like it's like what's narrow focus, but it's really not. There's a whole lot in there. Yeah. Excellent. And what about, I'm sorry, your name is? Mandy.
So,
History. All right. Well, I'm a little biased toward that. That's my background. So well, I can't say that out loud sometimes. 'Cause I can't play favorites because we are all the disciplines, but I do tend to like those theses when they come in because I resonate. Do you have a specialty yet or no?
So I specialize in sex work, looking at critical race and gender lens.
Okay. That's interesting. So yeah, at some point when you finish, so when that comes across my desk, I'll get to read that.
Yeah.
Which is good. I actually had 3 of those this semester. I mean, it ebbs and flows. There's bigger classes, but I had 3 come across this summer, and I was like, after reading about math and engineers, like, oh, I can get into that one. I can follow that one, but and those are spread the topic. Right. And you are Monica? History as well. All right. Very good. Very good. Do you have a specialty? Excellent. And you guys, that's roughly 2 years, 2 to 3 years, depending.
Yeah, mine will be about
2.5. Okay, very good. And you?
I'm Logan.
Which program are you in, Logan?
Math.
Nice. Nice.
Move that committee online in NTech or even graduate certificates.
Okay,
And program. And doctor of education and tech.
nice. That's a nice mixture of disciplines there. That's good. So I know some of you have been here the whole week. What's your favorite part about grad prep so far? Give us some ups and some downs.
I think just learning about services like the writing, I think will be nice. That's kind of what I'm nervous about. Okay, in school for like 6 years. So just getting back into swing of that. And like research, I didn't have to do much research in my undergrad. Pretty refreshing what the resources are and trying to be efficient with that. So you guys have made me feel more comfortable.
Good. Good.
Yeah. I don't think there's been a bad part.
Fair enough.
I missed half a session yesterday because I'm sure it's coming to set up the internet. So,
Gotta have internet.
yeah.
Very good. Anybody else? Positives, negatives?
Like your side, I like the emphasis on what we're here to help.
Okay.
It makes it feel less intimidating that we get started.
Excellent. That is good to hear. That has always been the focus of putting these sessions together is information, yes, but obviously making sure if you walk away with nothing else, you know that there is someone you can go to in the graduate college to get that help. Because that was what they pay me to be here for, And it's what I enjoy doing as well. So it works out. Excellent.
It feels a little less like you're being pushed off the deep end, like you're
Yes. Well, that means we did that right. I think that's one of the questions we had when we started this program, well, pre-pandemic, I guess it's been 5 years now. Just that thing, because Friday orientation's great. You know, Adrian does a wonderful job putting that on. It's a great mixture of, you know, networking and food and the opportunity to listen to a bunch of different people, but it's also little snippets so that you have to kind of follow up on that. So we kind of designed this to kind of give you a little bit more, and I realized, you know, 40 minutes is not necessarily a deep dive per se, but it just gives us an opportunity to branch out and kind of give you a little bit more depth in that, so that, yeah, when you come on next Monday, you know, you're not like, wow, I got all this information and, you know, now what? Ideally, with other component we'll mention as well as working on as we move into the fall semester, we do have some other components we normally bring into grad prep that we kind of streamlined this year. Areas like career services, the venture college, Gradwell, which I know Laci touched on a little bit yesterday, but parking and transportation, OIT. Ideally, in the next few weeks, we'll have some videos up on our website to kind of hit some of those areas as well. That was a bigger project that we were attempting to hit for this semester. This particular group didn't quite happen on the timeline. But be on the lookout for that too, if you have any specific questions, or if you find yourself next week, you know, where do I park? Who do I talk to or whatnot? You can also let me know too, and I can put you in touch with those groups. I think the parking one's the one that's probably most relevant, so to speak, to next week. Then we usually do a campus guide as well. I mean, it's a kind of brief overview of kind of what's here. If any of you are interested in that over this first couple of weeks, I mean, my office door is open for that as well. Even if it has nothing to do with what the GSSC does, you know, pop in and say, hey, you know, I don't know where to go. Can you tell me where this office is? I'm totally welcome to do that as well. Yes.
And she says I haven't said it from Europe, we do not have such a support system. I'm quite blown away. In Europe, you're quite on your own to figure things out.
Yeah. And unfortunately, I think there's a lot of institutions that are like that as well. And I mean, it's just kind of the focus we have here too. I mean, we're success driven. And just the realization we're nimble enough to realize that success looks different for all of you. You know, depending on whether you're here, online, you know, hybrid, you know, all those avenues are gonna present, you know, opportunities and challenges. So that is good to hear. I am doing really yeoman's work. You're trying to stretch this out for a few minutes, but I think we're good here. Yeah.
Do you know roughly how many grad students are?
I want to say there's about 4 in the fours, like 4,000, something like that, maybe around 4. Either a little over, a little under 4,000, somewhere in there. Might be a little lower than that. I mean, our numbers ebb and flow. I haven't seen the exact numbers, but it's I think it's around 4. Yeah.
So I have a weird question. So with doing like these dissertation, like, so like I said, I'm looking at mine might be closer to 2.5 years,
Okay.
like because of the deadline, we have to get things, whatever.
Mhm.
So how does it look for when you apply for graduation? Like, is it once your classes are done, you apply for graduation, or is it once you giving your defense? I know that might not make sense.
No, it does. It totally makes sense. I totally get where you're coming from on that.
Repeat that question.
Yeah. Yeah, so a question come in here as far as finishing up your thesis or dissertation. Ideally, you have an idea of how long your program lasts. But that question is when would I start that graduation process? Whether that's after classes or after defending, which is a totally legitimate question. I know a lot of students get hung up on in that realm. So ideally, what you're looking at is you want to apply for about a year before you graduate, which means kind of that rough point where you finish most of your classwork and you are shifting over into thesis credits. And there could be some carryover there, but most students I think do that. We'll take their classes first, then you propose a thesis, then you kind of spend the rest of your program writing that particular document. About a year before you think you're going to be able to graduate, you'll submit a candidacy form, which basically tells us that you completed all your classwork. And we'll double check that and make sure, yeah, you have the right amount of credits. They're all in the right boxes. And then we can check that off, and your supervisory committee form to let us know who's on your committee, who's your chair, who you're working with. Though again, those 2 forms come in about a year. So figure if you're looking at 2.5, which would put you
Fall 2025.
fall 25. So you'd want to maybe fall 24. So next fall, you'd want to submit those two forms. Now, to defend, you have to be enrolled in a credit. So you have to be enrolled in at least one thesis credit, and you have to apply for graduation that semester. So if you know you're going to be, say that's fall and you're going to be defending in October to graduate in December, you want to apply for graduation. Whatever the deadline is that August. You can apply after that too. You'll pay a fee. So, I mean, if you can avoid the fee, that's the best thing to do. But that's when you'd actually apply. And that's just kind of a policy. You have to actually have told us you want to graduate to be able to defend and complete that process. And then there's some paperwork and other things that go into that after you've applied. But that's one of the things we'll check. When you send us a defense notification that says, yep, I'm done, my thesis is complete, I'm going to defend and graduate. When you tell us that, then we'll go back through and we'll check, have they applied for graduation? Do they have all their credits? You know, are they enrolled in a credit? All those things. And we'll tell you if there's any holes in that, then we'll notify you. That's why we asked for that form, so we can go back and double check just to make sure you're not missing anything. Yeah, hopefully that made sense. And again, in the meantime, if there's any question or if something changes, I mean, you can always pop in and say, hey, you know, here's where I'm at. Am I on track? You know, and we can tell you if you're on track or not, help you figure out where the pieces go. But it goes back to the earlier question. We try to make that as stress-free as possible. I mean, we can't eliminate the paper trail altogether, but ideally I want your focus to be on your work, on your research, on your classes, and not on that form has to go into this office at that time. We can help with that stuff to hopefully take that stress off. So you're not wondering, am I in the right place? Am I talking to the right so-and-so? The same goes for your faculty members. So once you get into your committee, if they have any questions, they're free to call me too and say, hey, I'm working with this student. I think we're on track, but can you tell me what the process is? Just to make sure we're all on the same page, because ideally, we want that last 2 semesters to be a smooth process through. Everyone hits their deadlines and everyone graduates when they want to. So. Good question. It's probably a topic I could probably spend a whole module talking about the thesis and dissertation process, but I don't know if everybody is as jacked about that as I am, especially those of you who don't have to do that. But does anybody else have any other questions or any comments about? Because if not, then I'll probably just let you have to. Yeah.
What's your name? Mark. So in terms of like keeping track of all of the citations, because I know it's really good for that movie. And so like I have a little bit of experience in this, so like I know that's hard. What format do you use to keep track of that?
I just put a general, like, I'll use citation generator to keep track of the citation and then go back. Like, so as I'm accessing, I can list.
You don't use like a program like ML or anything?
Not for, there's in the slide, like the rocket book that one of the students from past used. I personally make it often. And I keep them all as they go. That's just my biggest thing with it. Even if you don't know, you can
So, and yeah, and to follow up on that question about kind of keeping resources together, if you are interested in one of those programs, I mean, obviously we kind of all have our own personal ways we do it, which is great. You're going to find the way that works best for you too. If you do find one of those programs that works for you and need some assistance, even if one of us can't do it, I work with a bunch of students, a bunch of programs. So if nothing else, I can reach out to a program who I know uses that style of citation and say, hey, I've got a student who's interested in this program. Is there someone who can kind of give me a walkthrough or give her a walkthrough? So we could do that as well if it comes to when it comes time to it. Yeah.
So when it comes to citations, like I know each department has different ways that they do it. Different professors have different ways that they like to do those stuff. Does the grad program, like, so if I'm a history major, when the grad college looks at my paper, are you looking for a specific style or, okay, like with the footnotes?
Yeah.
Like if I expand on the thought, or do you just want the information? Does that make sense?
It does. It does.
Okay.
So yes, the question here is like when we talk about citations, kind of, is there a standard format, knowing that each discipline kind of does do it a little bit differently, and there's a lot of different styles that are perfectly acceptable at this level to work with. But is there something the graduate college looks for? And the answer that I would give there is as long as it's consistent. We don't have a set, we have a format, a template that the document goes into. So we do have that you'll have to fit your document in, which will, take care of all the headers and the table of contents and the margins. That way all the ECC dissertations look the same. So they're all branded, so we know they're Boise State. But as far as having the set citations, I do push that back to the departments a little bit. And I'm totally fine working. I've actually learned a few new citations I didn't know existed until a couple years ago, because I sent a document back to a student and said, hey, these are missing a bunch of commas. And the student said, no, that's nature, which I didn't know existed. So I went and looked it up, and obviously it's totally fine. It's reputable. It's used in a bunch of places. And they don't use commas. So, I add that to the repertoire. So I would look at that. As far as the citations go, I don't use, endnotes in one section and footnotes in another. Which I don't think you do anyway, but as long as it's consistent and the style is the same. And Yep. And usually what I do when I go through and check, like when the document comes to me for review, I'll check to make sure that they're accurate. I'm not going to go through and check like I can find each one, but I will make sure, like if you reference something in a footnote, I'll make sure it's in the references and vice versa. So there's anything missing. Which I do find, that's probably the most common error I find in dissertations and theses. And I think that's just a matter of, like, say, when it's being drafted, sometimes you move pieces, sometimes you insert stuff and take stuff out, sometimes the notes don't carry over. So it's more just to check, just to make sure everything's right. When that happens, I usually just make a note to the student that says this one's not in your reference page, or this one's missing from the text, and then have them go back and make sure it's either accurate or it's not. So that's what I'll do but I'm not, or if I find a student who's using APA and is not doing it correctly, I'll make a note to say, hey, there needs to be a comma here. This is how you do multiple authors. There are some students who need that guidance on that, but I'm not going to get in there and tell you, well, you can't use that reference style. I need this. So. And I'll work with the student too. I'll say this, the other thing too, is that if I send a note back and the student comes back to me and says, well, no, this is why we do it. This is how I do it in my field. And I can verify that that's something it's done in the field, then I'm fine with that too. Yeah. So as long as it's not something off the wall that looks really, really inky, it should be okay. And I have had to learn, obviously I have a history background as well. So I've had to learn, nature and IEEE and all those things that I didn't use as a grad student. And it's just a matter of, where the numbers go, where the brackets go, where the commas go. And most students get that right. I usually, like I say, the ones I use tend to find are just, it's a typo or an extra key or, again, yeah. So I don't have to break out the red pen too often. It scares students when I bring out the red pen. But yeah, good questions. So. Right. Well, I'm going to give all of you and the students online a chance to step away for a few minutes. We'll have Elizabeth Ramsey from the library here at 10:45 to talk to you about the Albertsons Library. There's Elizabeth right there.
Sorry for me. I thought the writing center would be going long.
Oh no, you're fine. I just got 10:45. Just stretching.
Okay, good.
So
I'll sit down.
Yeah. I was about to send them out, let them take a quick water break here.
Okay.
So I'll let you guys take a break. I'll help Elizabeth get set up and we'll go again at 10:45.
Here we go.
So
Alrighty. Hi there, I'm Elizabeth Ramsey, faculty in the library. Here to give you the lowdown on some resources we got, and mostly to help you see that we are kind of time saver central. We've got people and spaces and tools that are going to help you get to what you need as quick as you can. And you might like to know, ma'am, mama, we have a family study room in the library. You can bring her, and it's an enclosed space with books and things that she can do, and you can study. So yeah, come on the first floor of the library and we'll just direct you back there. Okay. You bet.
further, realize I think I stopped sharing screen on for our online students. Perfect. There you go.
All right.
Then Adrian, you need to. Yeah.
Okay, I think we're cooking with gas then. So I thought I'd just go through the library website to start with, because it's not terribly intuitive. A lot of folks go here and how can I find a book? So let's just give you the rundown of where you can get to what you want to do using the library. Maybe. Is it thinking about it? Come on, there we go. So, and this is where your accounts are, and that's important because although as grad students, you can check out materials for a year, even that may not be enough. So you can go into here and click on your library account and renew the stuff that you need. Okay, so that's kind of nice. That's one way to save you a trip. And interlibrary loan can also be great. We try to get you what we don't own. And that means that if you can't find an article, we can ask our library consortium if they'll lend it to you. And it depends on the lending library, but you can get a PDF delivered to your email of that article in as little as 24 hours. Books, of course, or other physical materials will take longer since we rely on the postal service to get them to you. But yeah, sometimes it can take up to 2 weeks. We also have a big range of computers and printing, so as well as poster printing. If any of you end up doing the Graduate Research Center, we have among the most economical options for poster printing. We beat the heck out of the FedEx office across the way. So yeah, you can plan on that. Frequently asked questions, how-to videos. Now, for those of you who are coming back to school after being away for a while, this can be a great option. It's just an overview of all the basic things, looking for articles, how to find books, the library website. Yeah, so this can be a great starting point if you're like, I have no idea where to get going. Are any of you TAs, GAs this year? Yeah, okay. So we're happy to come and visit your class if you're doing some assignments that are related to research and you feel like your students will need some help. All undergraduates have to complete a little library micro course in the University Foundations 100 or 200. And that kind of gives a library overview, keyword searching, and information evaluation, which I'm going to show you before I leave today. There's a suggestion form. Our Maker Lab is now right on the first floor, so you can't miss it as you come in the library. It's to the right, and it is freely available for all of you. We've got all kinds of tools. If you're working in a discipline where you need to do some modeling, You can use 3D printers there. We even have a scanner for our 3D printers. So our engineering and health sciences students in particular have found that to be really useful for their course. And I can think of one perfect example. Our respiratory care instructor used the Maker Lab to have students build little models of hearts so they could actually see some physical representations of defects in hearts. So we've got that, and you can reserve rooms, although also again, on the first floor, those are all freely available. First come, first serve. And if you want to camp out for the day, you can. Yeah, but there are rooms up above and the second, third, and fourth floor, and some of those are reservable, and they're a hot commodity, especially for like midterms and finals. And that, come on, you can do it. Our link is here. Our link is on this page to where you can reserve those rooms, okay? Group study rooms. We also have individual study rooms. And if you are someone that likes quiet, we try to have different spaces for different needs, because we know some students, they want absolute quiet. So we have those rooms upstairs that you can shut the door. Third floor is a quiet floor. And also there's a room on the second floor that is a quiet space, the McCabe room. So if you like quiet, that's where you can head. The first floor is going to be pretty noisy, but some folks like that atmosphere. They want to study with people around and action around. Let's see. I like the third floor because we have these great little study pods. They're like encased chairs with desks and outlets and lights. So if you can snag one of those, you can sit there and study and look across at the giraffes in the zoo. So that's one of my favorites. Any questions so far? Stop. Yeah.
So the family study room, you have to reserve that?
No, it's first come, first serve, but you just got to have a kid with you. And it's mostly, the materials in there are mostly for 12 and under. Yeah, yeah. But there's, the other study rooms, if you've got like a tween or a teen that you want to take with you, the other study rooms, you can bring them with you and use those. We also have reservable technology. That includes things like cameras, mics, tripods, lapel mics, desk mics. So if you want to check those out, you can take those out of the library. We have laptops, but those are not long-term. We ask that they're day use, so you have to turn them in by the end of day. So we do have some laptops. We also have the rooms where you don't need to check out material. You can just go to our sound booth, our sound room, which is also on the first floor. It's well situated for podcasting. I had a grant project this summer and my students sat in there and kind of test drove it and made some super quality podcasts this summer. So that's available. That is, you have to reserve that one, and you would do that with this reserve room. We also have a video recording room, and that's up on the second floor, and that has a green screen in the back. It has the camera. It also has a couple of computers for editing. There are a total of 10 computers on the second floor with Adobe Creative Cloud, and they're pretty high powered, so you can get in there and do your video and sound editing if you want to. Although now Spotify is so easy. Who needs special materials? So that's our reservable technology, because we realize that it's not all about theses and dissertations. Research support. Come on, baby. Thinking about it. You can do it. Yay. All right, here's where we have some help. ScholarWorks, I think, here's subject guides. We have guides for each discipline, but those are going to show up in Canvas. Up on the upper left, you're going to see a library link, and you can get right to the guides that are specific to the discipline. So if you're taking a Criminal Justice 203, you open that Canvas course, there's that little link to the Criminal Justice Guide. So those are here. And Scholar Works. Who among you has to write a dissertation or a thesis? Yeah, this is where it's going to live, in Scholar Works. And at one point, you will get an opportunity to decide how open you want to make your scholarship. If it's something that you're going to continue to work on, you maybe want to just make it available to Boise State community, or you can make it wide open. And they're going to live right here. So if you want to get a sense of who's been writing what before you, this is a great place to do a search. And I've made all my scholarship freely available, and it's wonderful because I get I think it's every other month, I get a report that shows me who's been using it, what institutions have been using it, how many times it's been downloaded. So if you're working on a grant team or something where you have some kind of proof of impact of the things you're doing, this can be a great resource. And this right now, those little pins, it's just showing us in real time where people are downloading our theses and dissertations from. So it can be a great way to promote your research. We've had over 170,000 downloads this year and over 1 million total. So it's really a great way to go. It is searchable by Google. So that's the way a lot of folks get into it. And we also have in here, so we have it by discipline, by authors, selected works. This is where you can find what your profs have been doing. So that can be kind of useful to look around and see, is there somebody that can help me a little bit with this project I'm working on? So that's Scholar Works. Back home. And do I have any history majors here? Okay, you might be interested in this collections button because there's special collections and archives, and they're going to be your best friend. And the archivists up there are super helpful. In fact, the head of the department said, make sure you mention the primary resources and that we have support for that. So let's click on that and just see what their hours are. They had no, they don't tell us. I know they were open from like Tuesday to Thursday, 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. But I think if you contact them and need to make an appointment outside those hours, they're happy to help you out. So here's where you can access digital photos, videos, the collections. Okay. All right. These down here are how you actually search for particular things. Click on this. These are kind of our key databases, including Google Scholar, which if you're a social scientist, it is the bomb. Maybe it's a little less so for specialized areas of health or business or engineering. But for those of us in social sciences, it is great. You want to make sure and connect it to library resources. That happens automatically when you're on campus because you've signed in, right? So that activates a proxy that opens the door and tells Google Scholar, look in our library subscriptions. Otherwise, you might end up with the heartbreak of the perfect article and no full text, right? So let me show you. And you can do that up here under settings. And you're going to look library links and you'll search for Boise State University. When it shows up, you click on it, hit save, and you've just told Google Scholar, look in our databases. So once you do that, you're going to see in your results, find it at Boise State, find it at Boise State. If you don't, you might want to check your settings and make sure that you've hooked it up, because Google Scholar is an index. There's nothing in it. It's pointing you out to other places. So let me show you disinformation and bias. That's kind of my jam. So you can see I'm connected. So this is a library database, library database. And another great thing that they have here is authors have their own pages, and Pennycook is one of my go-to guys. And when they're underlined, you can go to their author website, and this can blow up your search, right? You can find all the stuff by him. So he's going to have a number of articles that are useful for me. This has been great. I've been doing a lit review, so I've been able to go back and see, okay, did he do something before this guy? It's really helped me out. And sometimes you can even connect with them. So if you're trying to figure something out and you see that they're a specialist in your area, you can reach out and say, hey, Professor Pennycook, do you have some information on accuracy and misinformation? Yeah. And of course, they have the citations, which are pretty darn good. There are citation makers in most databases, but their quality is variable, especially like the EBSCO ones, Academic Search Premier. There's weirdness there. So if you're working with a prof who's really adamant about having correct citations, this can help you out. Yeah, so there they are. And they got the big ones. Yeah. And they have this fabulous cited by. So again, you can go back in time then. This looks like a seminal work, right? Cited by almost 1,500 people. You click on that. There's all the papers that cited that work. So it's really great. And it's equally great to go forward in time. So if I wanted to, fake news, political bias. You just look at of course, the references on a paper. If it's a little bit elderly, like this one, most of these are pretty new. If you find something that seems a little old, just go to their references, type in the title in quotation marks. Quotation marks are the bomb for Google Scholar, and many databases. It forces those search engines to look for those words in that exact order. So that can really help focus your search. But that's the wonder that is Google Scholar. Any questions about it? Yeah.
So there's been a few times where like I'll be doing research and I'll come across like one of those articles where you go to get it, but ESU does not have the permissions. Is there a way we can go to the library and like librarians can give them access to those articles for us?
You can. You don't even need to talk to us. Let's see. Let's see. Here's one. But I'll bet I can get it. If I click on find it, well, it's an Academic Search Premier. If it wasn't, you can go into the, yeah, so that's a pretty, if it wasn't, you can go into the, you can either contact your librarian and say, can you help me do an interlibrary loan on this? But you have to set up your own interlibrary loan account and request it so they can help you. So you can go to, let's see if I can get back there. That is under using the library is the link to interlibrary loan. So you can log in there and just put the name of the article and every bit of information you can find from the citation and hit. Yeah. Yeah.
Is that the same as like the
Exactly. Yep, that's the magic login for everything library. And for checking things out, you either need your ID or if you've got your student ID number. that we can get that stuff for you too. And books and video. So here's the actual library catalog. I always click here. And again, in this search engine, come on, the magic of quotation marks around. This is great for titles of things that you want exactly this. Okay, thesis or dissertation. So it looks like they don't have that book. So I could go into interlibrary loan and request it. I'm going to do another search for penguins. Just kind of show you. So if we own it, it's always going to say Boise State here, and that applies to ebooks and to print books. And ebooks, you just click there and you can access it online if you're logged in. And often, and they're provided by a variety of vendors, and there's a variety of licenses. So sometimes it's 7 days, sometimes it's 14 days. And you can download it, but it will disappear from wherever you downloaded it. Yeah. So once you just click on access online, then it'll open. Yes, cookies. And you'll see that there's a little print. You can print parts, and each publisher decides how much you can print to avoid copyright infringement. Sometimes it's a chapter, sometimes it's 10 pages. You didn't hear this from me, but sometimes if students need an ebook and it's a one-user ebook, so it's hard to get into, they get together and they each publish a chapter, and then they have it. Shh. We don't really, vendors can be much more strict than we would be if it was up to us. Okay, I'm going to get rid of this and do only print books and show you another great time saver. So these are all owned by us. We've got lots of books on penguins. And of course, each of them has call numbers, adult, these are mostly children, so they're arranged differently, but we use, like most universities, Library of Congress classification system, which made sense to a bunch of old white guys a long time ago, doesn't make a lot of sense now. So if you go up into the stacks and can't find something, just come down to the first floor and say, hey, can you help me? Because yeah, it's not always easy. So it's like the B's are religion, the D's are history, the law is K. I don't know why, they just decided that. Engineering's T, medicine's R. I know the ones that I've always been liaison to. And if we don't have it, trying to find one that we don't own, let's go way out here, because it will show stuff that is owned by our consortium that's not at the library. Wow, we've got a lot of books on penguins. You can see that one's checked out. Well, let me show you another nifty thing. If that's the penguin book you want, I don't know why a history of the English church, it shows up with penguins. You can use this hold request button. So you don't have to go to the stacks. You can click on this. Got to log in with your Boise State login and ID, and then you ask them for a student to go up and get the book and bring it down to the front desk. They put it in with the interlibrary loans. There's a little shelving, and then you can just stroll in the next day and pick it up. You got to give us at least 24 hours because we're relying on student labor, so it'll take a while. Okay. So that's a time saver that you can use as well. Don't need this anymore. If we didn't own it, a similar orange button would show up that said interlibrary loan request. And so for books, it's really easy. You just can click on that, log in. It'll already be pre-filled out. Yeah.
Online.
Oh, great.
Abundance of books or articles online. Yeah, not most. So I guess in other words, you have ebook version of most articles.
Not all, but the majority of our collection is ebooks for that very reason. And I should mention that we have a guide for distant students that can help make sure that you're set up. If you are officially a distant student, you can also get print materials mailed to you. Yeah. So not everything, and if you need something in e-format, just let us know. And when I say us, I'm meaning your librarian, because you each and every one of you have a librarian. So, penguin.
So how should we reach the guide?
Here we go. From this page, subject guides. And click on, let's look for distance. Distance. Start here on distance studies. There you go. There's the lowdown on the resources we've got to help you connect with stuff from far away. And you may have noticed we've got a zillion of them. So this is a way, while the databases, there's a list of 300. So that's a lot to get through. Say you're a communications major. Here you go. There's a select little group of the most likely resources that you will be using, okay, as well as some other stuff. And Mary is your liaison. So you could contact her with all questions library. Right up here. Contact us. You can either look in the guides to find your librarian, or you can look here. And there they are. I'm the librarian for most programs in the School of Public Service and the Interdisciplinary Professional Studies and environmental, the new School of the Environment. So those are my liaison areas. Anybody from those programs? No? Yeah. What program are you going to be in? Yeah. Oh, great. You've got Elaine, and she's wonderful. She especially likes one-on-one consults, and it seems like that there she is. There's her contact information. And I gotta say, email is probably your best bet. We're still working hybrid schedules, and a lot of us have switched from real landlines to web phones, which I am finding are a little wonky. So I encourage everybody to contact me through email. So there's the list, and your history, right? So that would be Cheryl A. Stryker, which you probably already know. There she is. Anybody else want to know who your librarian is? No? So that's kind of the main stuff I wanted to help you with on the website. Yeah. Okay, those are going to be, her name is Heidi. If they would look under education, you can see there's the early childhood. It is not Kelsey Keys. That needs to be updated. But here's refdesk@boisestate.edu. That librarian just left to live in Netherlands. So we are still looking for her replacement. So if she contacts refdesk@boisestate.edu, we'll make sure they get help. Anybody else? EdTech 2, Ref Desk at Boise State. Yeah. You can see Kelsey's still on there. She handled the entire College of Education. Yeah. But we got you covered for sure. Any other questions? Yeah.
So I found a spot to check out like the certifications, and I know we sometimes have physical copies. Do we have like a limited amount of time in the library still working to check this out?
I think that's in the library only. Yeah, but most of them, I can't remember the date and time, at least for the last 10 years for sure, are electronic. Yeah. So, and you would go and talk to Cheryl because that's where they live, up with her, I think, unless they've been moved to the collection. Anything else? Well, I just wanted to do one last thing. Because of course we've got our databases and they're the repository for most peer-reviewed research. But sometimes if you're working on something new, a really new topic, it's just not going to have made it through that publishing cycle. So you may have to do some searches online. So I wanted to help you a little bit with how to navigate some of the issues we're encountering, because we know that right, you find a little bit of everything. And so that has turned some people into cynics. They just don't believe anything. They don't believe the experts. They don't believe in science. And that's unfortunate because there is accurate information to be found out there. So I want to encourage you to use a skill called lateral reading. And it means it's going to take a little more time. And that's kind of what I want to encourage everybody to do, is to be more intentional with your online information habits. Slow down. One psychologist calls our gut instinct and our usual way of interacting online like an elephant rampaging, because we're going on emotion, our instincts, and they can really guide us astray because we're subject to so many biases, right? Our cognitive habits are not up to speed with the internet. We tend to believe things that we hear more than once. We tend to believe things that our social groups or believe because there's this tribal bias. We tend to believe things that that align with what we already believed. So it's called motivated reasoning. We're motivated to find resources that support something we already believe. So it's a wonderful habit to start to try to disprove the things that you already have in your heart as something that's true. And to do that, like I mentioned, all of our undergrads are taking this library course, and we use this web page as an example. So they are, and we use a policy brief here that is about renewable energy. And what you can do, you're like, this looks like it's got some stuff going on. We can do a search for Heartland Institute in quotation marks and Wikipedia, because Wikipedia is your friend in lateral reading. You may have heard from professors that it's evil, it's awful. Well, don't cite it, but it is what I use when I'm sitting at the reference desk and getting questions from botany to to jurisprudence, to chemistry. That's what I rely on, because it is actually being monitored, automatic monitoring and human monitoring. So you can trust it's good enough for this kind of stuff. And if we go and we look at the Heartland Institute and Wikipedia, and we scroll down, we can pretty soon see that it is funded by big oil. Charles Koch, ExxonMobil, all those dudes, they have founded quite a number of institutes, think tanks, that are dedicated to swaying American thought, and particularly in terms of climate change. And the sites that they develop look great, which is, they're very updated. They have few if no advertisements. And they have citations, but often those citations are self-citations. They go back to other institutes and organizations that are also funded by Big Oil. So this is one example of the very well-developed and well-funded efforts at undermining established scientific fact. It's out there, as well as just the casual, oh, I heard this from my neighbor, so I'm going to put it out on social media. So don't be a cynic, just do a little lateral reading, do your due diligence, and you'll be okay. Or contact your librarian. Yeah. So that's my spiel about lateral reading. I've been on a grant funded by the Department of Homeland Security because this is such an issue. My grant was about domestic terrorism and how disinformation is informing radicalization, extremist belief, and violence, like we saw in on the Capitol on January 6th. So, but we're here on the front lines, and we're happy to help you. Do you have any other questions? Things I can help you with? Yeah.
It's a lateral reading is just forward getting into it's where there.
It's opening other tabs. That's the lateral part of it. Yeah, yeah, because even a lot of libraries still use something called the CRAP test. Have you heard that? And it's this checklist, but that isn't how information is served to us anymore. We don't have true and false, yes and no, because a lot of folks that are trying to get you to believe something to incite your emotional response or your confirmation bias are using little nuggets of truth. And there's certainly some truth on the Heartland side. Absolutely. But yeah, it's all kind of a front. So professional fact checkers, that's what they usually do. They don't take a lot of time on the site itself. They go out, they look at the publisher, authors, funders, because information is not usually just distinct, it's networked. And we know that from academia, right? And literature reviews, there's always this network of research before us. And you all who have experience, you're doing this already in some way, so don't be intimidated. Like, you're gonna go buy a car, you talk to your neighbor, you find out what they did, and then you go to the site and you look at that, and then you look somewhere else to see, well, I'm not sure about that. What is Consumer Reports? So you may be already doing this in your everyday life. So keep up that good work and you'll be just fine. Yeah. Yeah.
One thing I have really difficult is, so I have, let's say I start reading, and then I want to look at the side of it.
Mm-hmm.
But I have like the full picture of what I want to believe. And so, but then like Google, it's like directing me towards your confirmation.
So glad you mentioned that, because I forgot. The algorithm is also serving up information that enforces our misguided beliefs, because it doesn't give us the most truthful stuff first. It gives us stuff that's related to what we searched before, social media and search engines. So thank you so much for bringing that up, because yeah, you just have to kind of dig down beyond. Yeah, maybe go beyond the first 10 results to see if you can find something that's a great point. Yeah. All righty, come and see us. It's a vibrant place, and we're happy to help you get through this journey that you're making. Yeah. All right. That's it.
All right, we'll wrap up grad prep fairly quickly today. Just a couple more announcements like I've done every other day here. One, sign up for orientation on Friday if you already haven't. Two, our recruiting specialist is looking for graduate assistants and ambassadors. So if you're interested in either of those programs, let me know, or you can stop downstairs in 117. I know a couple of you have probably already done that, and that's great. But I'll make sure. I believe probably the best thing to do would be stop in 117 and talk to our recruiter about that. Ideally, the way I understand the program is it's graduate students who are going to be actively involved in the recruiting process since they're on the ground, so to speak. They can provide that perspective of a graduate student, that if someone asks a question about, well, how is it in this program? Or, how do I navigate this? You'll have somebody who's been on the ground, who's actually been through that program or is involved in that program to help you out, to guide you. So I think that's the gist of the program. Now, there's probably a lot more to it than that you'd want to work out, but I think that's kind of what we're looking for, is students who can not only help with that recruiting, because a lot of times as a student, you're going to have that question when you come in, what about X, Y, and Z? A lot of times a student is the best person to answer that question. So I think that's where you'd start. And then, yeah, if you're interested, pop into 117 and meet with a recruiter and ask if that's a fit for you. There was one other thing I was going to mention today, and it's totally went out of my head. The trivia, the trivia night or trivia day coming up next week. That Wednesday, Adrian? Wednesday morning from 10 to 11 down in 102A, which is right next to the Graduate Student Success Center downstairs. We'll have free popcorn. We're doing 3-person teams. We'll have prizes for the top 3 teams, designed kind of as a really fun event for students to come in, get to know us a little bit, have a little bit of fun that first week of school. So please attend that if you're able to next week. It should be a lot of fun. Yeah.
Do they like pre-register for that, or is it just drop? You just drop in.
Yep. Yeah. Perfect. All right. And if there's nothing else, then I will let everyone go for today. Reminder, we have one more session tomorrow. That's probably what I was thinking in my head. We have one more session tomorrow. Tomorrow, we're going to talk about finding mentorship here on campus. Our Associate Dean of Residence, Kristen Snopkowski, will come over. That's one of her focuses here at the Graduate College, is developing and building out our mentor programs for faculty and students. So she's a great resource to talk to. She'll have some wonderful things to talk about tomorrow. Come with your questions. Really just kind of figure out kind of where you fit in that scheme, and just know the importance of finding that right mentor while you're here. But come for tomorrow's session. And thanks for everybody for coming. Thanks for all the students that are online. And we'll see you for one more day tomorrow. Thanks.